Growing up, my grandpa became my best friend. We'd fish at dawn, we'd yell at the TV during tennis matches with Roger Federer, and we'd stay up way too late playing our favorite board game, Monopoly. And this guy, he would film everything, whether it was birthdays, grocery runs, walks with the dog, even embarrassing moments with my shirt off, he would always have our camera on it. And so, at the time, I remember thinking, Grandpa is just obsessed with his camcorder, and there wasn't anything else to it. But looking back, I think it was deeper. You see, my grandpa lived through the communist regime in Romania that attempted to erase people's stories. And so maybe he believed that every ordinary life deserved to be remembered. And so without ever giving a speech about it, I think he was teaching me something. He was trying to tell me that there's dignity in even the smallest of moments. In 2023, he passed away due to type 2 diabetes and stroke complications. And I did not handle it well. I locked myself in my room, overwhelmed with how empty everything felt, and I was grieving. But one day, I strolled upon his old videos again, and there we were. We were fishing at sunrise, and he was telling his old terrible jokes to me. And those videos suddenly became so sacred, because in the middle of grief, I saw his face full of wrinkles and heard his raspy voice again. And that was like a life preserver to me. And so, during that moment, a painful realization hit. Although we had recorded our life stories together, I had never recorded his, meaning that all the questions that I never got to ask him, all the stories that he never got to tell, those were gone. But in that moment of grief, a small spark of hope lit up. I remember thinking, what if we could help families capture the love and the stories of the people that they cared about before it's too late? And that one little thought was the starting point to everything that came next. So what I did was I got some friends together and said, hey, I have a pretty weird idea, but do you want to try it out? And being the great friends that they are, they agreed. And we created a platform called Grand Connect. And what Grand Connect does, it allows grandkids to interview their grandparents, asking questions about life experiences, childhood memories, whether sad, happy, embarrassing, or anywhere in between. And the idea behind these is that once these videos were recorded and archived, they would be saved as a digital time capsule for families to look back upon. And so just like any motivated startup does, we went straight to the customer base. And for me, that was my grandparents on my dad's side. So I went to their house, which is very close to ours, and my brothers are very little. And they started asking questions about basketball. They're big basketball fans. They were asking about Michael Jordan and all the games that used to be back in the day. I, on the other hand, was very interested in my grandma's recipes of her basmati rice and her lamb curry. And so my family, my grandparents, were amazed at how much of a difference that the platform made. Because one, they not only surprised that their grandkids were asking such amazing questions, but two, they were comforted by the fact that their stories would live on for generations to come. And so, I thought, wow, this was a fantastic success with my grandparents, the most unbiased customer base in the world. And so I thought, let's bring this into hospitals. Let's bring this to people with serious illnesses, allowing them to preserve their legacy for the future. But that's when reality hit. You see, in one clinic, I sat with a woman who was facing metastatic breast cancer. And I told her about the application and how it could preserve her legacy for the future. She listened politely and then looked me dead in the eye and said, I'm not preparing to die. I'm fighting to live. And that stopped me cold. You see, I realized I was asking the wrong question. People didn't want to talk about things that they used to do that they couldn't anymore. They didn't want to write their own eulogy. They didn't want to say their final goodbyes. They wanted to feel alive right now. And so I pivoted. Instead of speaking, I shut my mouth and I started listening. I started asking questions like, what would make you feel seen today? What would help you out the most? One man living with ALS, which is a neurodegenerative disease, told me, I don't want another video telling me to stay strong. I want to feel like I still matter to my friends. I want to laugh. And that's what changed everything. You see, people with serious illnesses don't want their diagnoses to define them. They want joy. They want connection. They want to feel like themselves again, not just the patient in room 12. And so we pivoted from Grand Connect to Embrace, from a platform focusing on legacy to one that's focusing on emotional support right now in the present. Now, Embrace is simple at its core. What it does is it allows friends and family to create heartfelt video montages for loved ones who are going through a healthcare journey. And the way that it works is a caregiver will ask friends and family to record a 2 to 3 minute video of what they love and appreciate about a person. Those videos will show up on the caregiver side, where they can then stitch it together into a montage and send to their loved one. And so instead of a generic get well soon card, it's familiar faces showing up in ways that feel real. It could be a friend telling an inside joke. Maybe it's a sibling roasting you in a way that only they can get away with. Maybe it's a partner saying, hey, I love you, and I'm not going anywhere. Or maybe it's the friends reenacting that disaster of a camping trip. It's real faces showing up in ways that are intimate and authentic. And so our mission suddenly became, how about we use technology to deliver hope and connection like it's a form of medicine? And to make sure this wasn't just a feel-good idea in our heads, we went straight to the hospitals, and we developed a clinical study with hundreds of patients and their families. We worked with oncologists, psychologists, nurses, and even patients and families themselves, most importantly. And immediately what we found is families saw their loved ones saying that they felt the room to be different, lighter. And clinicians noticed it too. On days that patients received their montages, videos of love and appreciation about them, they were more talkative, more hopeful, and more excited on those days. And that's when we learned that small acts of love make a huge impact on people with serious illnesses. And although it doesn't replace medicine, it can work powerfully alongside it. So, why do these little messages matter so much? Why does a 30-second video of a friend make any difference for someone going through chemo or living with ALS? Well, the human side and the science actually agree on this. You see, first, hope. Hope isn't just some abstract, fluffy thing. Studies on people with serious illnesses show that hope actually increases emotional well-being and coping. Although it doesn't cure disease, what it does is it changes people's perspectives on it and their healthcare journeys. And where do we find hope? We find hope from being felt seen, from feeling like we matter, and from realizing that our lives have meaning to the people around us. Second, connection. You see, hospitals are now realizing what families have known forever, that when you feel loved and supported, you do better. For example, in many intensive care units right now, visiting policies are starting to shift. Traditionally, they've been all about letting patients rest and limiting visitors. However, now, loved ones and families are invited into the room because patients experience less confusion, less anxiety, and have a better overall experience of care when they're surrounded by loved ones. And so sometimes through someone being at the bedside table, that can calm someone down more than any medicine ever could. And on the biological level too, when someone reaches out, our bodies respond. One kind word, a simple message, even a video. These things can trigger hormones like oxytocin, which reduce our anxiety and stress levels and increase benefits for the heart and for the immune system as well. And so when people say that common phrase, love is healing, it's not just poetic, because there's real physiological context behind it. And third, kindness is contagious. When people are kind to us, we want to be kind to others. You see, and that's the ripple effect. One small, kind act can ripple to families, friend groups, and even entire communities. And that's the importance of the butterfly effect of love. You see, one small flutter, one small act of love can make a whole wave of positive change in others' lives, much bigger than the original moment. Now, why does all this matter for you sitting here today? Well, ultimately, small acts of love matter, and they matter a lot. They matter more than we think, and they travel farther than we can see. So today, I want all of y'all to do something very practical with me. Right now, I want you to think of someone in your life who you genuinely appreciate, but who could use a little encouragement right now. It could be maybe a grandparent who lives alone. Maybe it's a friend who's going through a breakup, a job search, or a health scare. It could even be a parent or a sibling who you talk to all the time, but maybe don't pause to appreciate. Got someone in mind? Awesome. Now, I want you to do one small thing for them today. Maybe it's texting them or sending them a voice memo of a genuine and sincere compliment that you have about them. Or maybe it's sharing a funny moment or memory that you have. It could even be giving them an extra long hug and saying, hey, I really appreciate you. Or, my personal favorite, maybe it's taking out your phone and being brave like my grandfather and recording a short video together. Because these things take what, like 30 seconds? But they can land in people's lives at the exact moment that they need them. And the minute that you might tell yourself, it's only a small gesture, it might not matter a lot, I want you to remember this. One smile, one message, one act of love can be the thing that someone needs to push forward that day. My grandfather always used to ask me, Atlas, what do you want to do when you grow up? If I was to respond to him today, I would say, I want to help people feel hopeful and connected. And I genuinely believe that everyone sitting in this room today can join that same path. And so before you leave, I ask you to do one thing. Notice one person or multiple people in your life who you appreciate. Say it loud and say it like you mean it. And do one small thing that will show that. Because I guarantee you that those small acts of love will go much farther than you anticipate. And that's what I mean by the butterfly effect of love. Through hope and healing, through each of us sharing one message at a time, we can make the world a better place, right here and right now. Thank you.